and welcome to the 30th episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. Yes, we have a new set for the 30th episode with Maude, Fatima, and Mike. It's going to be a great time in episode 30 when we hop into a whole new season for you guys here on the Little Thespian Podcast. So without further ado, let's hop in episode 30 of the Little Thespian Podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 30th episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. Guys, it is a treat today as we have three guests joining us, and my God, the talent that is in this room today. So we have Mike, Fatima, and Maude joining us. So how are you guys during this time? I know it's been a crazy time with COVID, right?
Doing as well as we can in this situation, I think.
Yeah, it's I feel like for us things are kind of coming to a close, but it's exciting because we're gonna start production soon, so it's like something to look forward to. And yeah, I think for a lot of it's kind of coming to like the realization that it is almost over for us, but it's bittersweet because it's a chance to work with Andy, which is you've worked with him and you know how he is. We had I think we've had maybe 2 classes with him.
Yeah.
Was it 1? I think it was 1 or 2, but it was just a joy to work with him.
A lot of work, but really fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what third year is all about, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, especially now, you guys are just coming off March break very soon, unfortunately. But then the next thing you know it's May. And I mean, it's crazy, guys. You guys are going to love it. Andy is amazing. I know I say it a lot, but it's Andy. I need to. Yeah, guys, I'm super happy to have you guys on. And I know with COVID, like we were saying, it's been different to say the least. Yeah, it's the 30th episode and we're going to have a great time, I promise. So without further ado, let's hop in. But before I do that, as we were talking about COVID, guys, please wear a mask, wash your hands, and socially distance. I mean, shouldn't have to keep saying that, but yet I still do every episode because we're still dealing with it. Yeah, let's hop in. So the first question, as per always on the Little Thespian Podcast, how exactly did you guys get into theater?
I'll jump in if that's okay. So my story is kind of weird. When I was 12, I was in this play that had an audience of maybe 15 people at the library where I volunteered. And I just was asked to do this, and I had no prior experience acting or in theater or whatever, and I did it, and I didn't think it was that good, but people seemed to really respond to it, and I was like, whoa, I think that's the first time that I realized that I had the potential to touch people with that kind of work. And I think it left a mark on me, because when I went into high school, as soon as I had the option to do drama electives, I did that. Then I ended up doing the plays, and sort of slowly I'm still getting more immersed into the whole theater thing. It's really just a love of acting, once I tried it, that just got me on my way, I guess.
That's lovely. Yeah, I mean, it's usually what it is, right? Like you find that one thing that it comes out of nowhere usually with theater. Or you start it when you're 3 years old. And yeah, that's lovely. And I'm glad that you're continuing your studies at Abbott, because I mean, I know I speak about Abbott a lot, guys, but it truly is an amazing program.
Yeah. We got really lucky.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Mike?
Either of you, Mike or?
Yeah, I'll go. For myself, I think the presence of theater has always kind of been around in my family. Like when I was young, my parents would put on Jesus Christ Superstar and stuff like that. I didn't like it when I was young, but growing up, it has become one of my favorite musicals. And but through elementary school, I was in the music program, and we would have plays, and I loved that. Absolutely loved it. And I always had the plan to go into theater once I hit high school. So I ended up in John Rennie and decided to try out for the actor studio. And I joined that in grade 9, and I was only in there for 1 year. After that, I don't think I was ready to like make the commitment that acting needs and theater needs. And so they decided that like I wasn't right for the program. And I understood that, as I was like, you know what, maybe it's not for me. Maybe that's not the path my life is going to take. So I went through the rest of high school, didn't think about it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go into something I like to work with my hands, because I love work with my hands. And I went into woodworking and stuff like that. And at the end of that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to Abbott. I want to take digital media. And I was like, I love editing videos. I love filmmaking, all that. And I was in that for, I think, a year and a half. And then the fourth semester, I was able to take a theater class, the ALC theater program. And there was like a split second moment where I was like, am I going to go into the tech side, or am I going to take the acting stream? And I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the acting stream. It's like, maybe this is my calling to get back into it. And then from then on, it's just the love for it came back to me. And originally I was like, you know what, I'm going to go into the program, the ALC acting program, to see what it's like to work with actors, see what I would look for, kind of get the other side of the filmmaking process. But I fell in love with it. I got drawn in. And I had, like, there was a point where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do the play, because at the end of ALC, you get a musical, you get a play. And for us, it was a musical. And I was like, I'm not sure if I want to stick around and do that, if I want to just move on from Abbott. But I had one French class left. So I was like, might as well come back, do the French, and work on the play at the same time. And here I am, 3 years later. I registered for the professional theater program, and almost at the end of that.
That's amazing. And it's great to just hear the passion in it, because, I mean, I remember Pippin, we can say the name. You were amazing in it, and my God, I'm so glad that you just took the leap. I keep saying it on the podcast. Take the leap and just see where you land. And especially with theater, it's a career of passion, I've been saying. Yeah. Because it really is something that if you love it that much, you're going to do whatever you need to do to get it done and continue doing it, right? You get a lot of rejection in the business. It's sad, but it's true. But I mean, look at you now, man. 3 years later, and you love it. I can see it in your face. See when you're talking about it, you love it. So I'm glad that you took that leap of faith, and look at you, you're going to be graduating in May. Yeah.
And then the real work begins.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully theaters are open and stuff's open by May, and we're praying, right? Yeah. But yeah. And so we have one more story that I cannot wait to hear, because you guys are so passionate. I love it. It's amazing.
For me, I don't think that I ever had like Maude, that one moment where I decided that I wanted, because I mean, I was born in Argentina, and I lived a whole bunch of years there. And in high school there, in elementary, you don't get a choice. Everybody is just in the musical, whatever musical we're doing that year. So I kind of just grew up being in the school musicals, even if it was like the background dancer or whatever. And then when I got into high school, I mean, I still loved it. And like, I couldn't see a reason not to do it. It was even like in Argentina, it was a class. You either did that or like some other class where it was like, might as well do this. It's a musical. It's fun. And definitely when I moved back here to Montreal, when I went to Cooper Academy, I auditioned for the play and I got in. And then in my last year, we did Beauty and the Beast, and I got to play Belle. And that definitely was like, as much as it wasn't the moment that like made me fall, like that brought me into theater, was definitely the play that like cemented my choice as to like, I don't think I could not do this. I love rehearsing. I love being with people and watching something come to life, and like slowly and surely, like it seems like nothing is really going on, but then you have a whole musical or play to put on, and I love those moments, and that's why I'm here.
That's incredible. I mean, it's true. Like, there can have to be that one show that just like sparks love, or it's just like it becomes ingrained in you so much that you're just like, this is what I need to do. I know for me, I went to go see Les Mis, and I'm like, I know I made the right call. And I went to Stratford, and I'm like, okay, guys, that's acting there is just incredible. The amount of costume and whatnot, you're just like, I know I made the right call. You know what I mean? And honestly, I can say, seeing all you guys act and just by you guys speaking, you all have made the right call. And I'm glad that you guys are about to graduate. It's so crazy because, I mean, I was in third year when you guys were in first. So I feel old. But it's so great to see you guys blossom into, I mean, I already knew you guys were amazing actors, but to now see you guys one step closer to doing this professionally. Believe me, guys, it's somewhat terrifying, but also just so amazing once you actually go out to the real world and see all these things take shape. I mean, John Abbott, like I've been saying, it's very well known in a good way. So we've been taught well. It's good. And I'm glad you guys have the amazing stories that you guys do. Just getting into theater. It's great. So my next question actually comes about the program itself. What has been your favorite part about the program? If there's one thing that you're going to just take with you moving forward.
I would say the people. Like, for sure, that is the part that even in the hard times keeps you going. And I think it's the most important part. It was the people that I met. But definitely, if I had to choose something other than that, it would be clown. I really, 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 really liked clown. That was really fun.
Clown was so much fun. But very early in the morning, I could probably do without clown.
Yeah, we had early morning clown. That was it was like what, an 8:30 class for us.
Yeah,
that was tough.
At 8:30 in the morning, Tracy Lee being like, all right, now think about how you hurt as a child, and like just try to like forgive like everything that happened to you, and just like embrace it. At 8:30 in the morning, you're like crying with this little nose in your hands.
I think that's why we had so many sad and angry clowns in our class. We were just sad and angry at how exhausted we were.
Yeah, I mean, usually you don't have classes at 8:30 in other places, but at Abbott you have it so often, right? And then they're like, you know what? We're going to do clown, so you guys are going to have to be very over the top and very sad this early in the morning. But yeah, I mean, clown was, I didn't expect to love it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect to love clown.
Same.
But then you go in and you just play and make fun of so many different things. I know I made fun of like, what's it called? Aladdin and whatnot. And I'd be making fun of like so many different things. And I mean, there's just something about it. And once hopefully you guys get to play like a clown on stage in some other way, because it's so much fun too, just playing with the audience like that. But yeah, so what are you guys also working on now as you are going to be working with Andy? I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about how happy you are that you're going to be working on one of your last shows with Andy, who you guys work with, but not all the time.
It's pretty exciting. I don't know. I don't think I can say much, but the material that we're working with is just excellent in my opinion, and I am obsessed with my character. I just think it's gonna be a whole lot of fun to experience a different style of directing, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel so fortunate that we still get to do this together, and we found a way to make it work despite all the conditions with COVID. I'm really excited.
Yeah. And the fact we get to put it on stage,
which we've never done.
Yeah, without an audience, it's gonna. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I feel like the guy who spoils things on interview.
Tom Holland.
But no, it's very exciting, and it's amazing to finally be able to like have a script, have a character, and be able to figure stuff out about them. And I didn't realize how much I missed that until I like read through it. And I'm like, okay, this character, let's see. And then you're just picking apart little things that he says, little things people say. And oh my God, I missed that immensely.
Oh, the psychology of a character is so lovely to jump into.
Yeah.
But you guys are Terry's class. And I want to talk a bit about Terry because I was talking to Dusty about Terry. But I mean, I need to get it also from you guys. So how much do you guys love Terry as an acting teacher? Because I know he's an amazing human being. So
yeah.
I don't think you could put into words how much we love Terry. Like, he has become like our grandfather. Like, we love him so much. And honestly, it breaks my heart that he can't be on campus because of how old he is. I'm really hoping that because he's 75, he gets to have the vaccine at some point soon. And although I don't think he still will be on campus because he's working on a radio play with the second years, so he won't actually get to be on campus, but I hope we get to see him or in some form or another if cases go down or something, because a couple of us would visit him during the summer. We'd show up to his house and stay socially distanced and just talk to him about acting and life and stuff. So definitely it goes beyond, especially because of the pandemic. We were lucky enough that it has become more than just a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, as much as he's our teacher, he's somebody that we can talk to. He's somebody who, like, if we're struggling with something in our lives, if the world feels too heavy, he's somebody who comes in and just helps lighten the load, you know? He soothes our minds, which is, especially now, like, with the amount of work that we have and the stress that comes with being in the learning style that we are in now through online. He's somebody that, like, yeah, he's everybody's mentor, everybody's therapist, just by being himself. And yeah, love him.
Yeah. He's a wonderful human being. Oh my God. And he has so many years of experience too, which is just like amazing to have in a teacher. Fatima said it in the best way possible. You can't possibly put it into words. He's the best.
Yeah. Yeah. He's taught us to be better humans, which you can't say that a lot about other teachers.
No, I completely understand that. Terry, I mean, the man's so wise, so funny. Just he's so loving, so caring. And I didn't even have him as a teacher, but I can see that. You know what I mean? I can't even put into words, and I don't know him as much as you guys, but I mean, a lot of you guys have been asking to get Terry on the podcast, and I would love to have him on. The man's so wise, but I do not have time on the podcast to pick his brain. An hour is not enough, guys. It really isn't. But Terry, I mean, I'm hoping too, for your guys' sake, that he can be on campus very soon. I know he would love to be there. Terry just loves what he does. That's why he's been there for so long. But yeah, I'm really hoping for your guys' sake, you guys will be able to see him very, very soon. So I actually want to talk about learning during COVID, because I know it's definitely different. So how exactly has everything switched for you guys now from being on campus, not being on campus, and now kind of doing a hybrid of that? So how has everything changed at Abbott with the acting program?
Completely.
Yeah. I think. Sorry.
I think, for at least for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people, we went into acting because we like, at least like for myself, I like using my body. I like moving. I like being present in the moment. And for myself, I consider myself a pretty physical actor. And to have that switch to just sitting there and talking through a screen. And I find for myself, I get overwhelmed when there are a lot of voices coming out of my screen. I don't feel like I can ever get my moment in. So I just stay silent and I listen. And I'm always worried that a teacher is kind of like, oh, this guy's not present. He's not there. But that's just, I think that's also just the mental aspect that comes with it. You don't feel like you're doing enough. You don't feel like you're progressing the way you want to progress. I think that just comes with, comes with the territory, I guess now.
Yeah, like I've done a couple of readings online, so like kind of digital theater, and guys, it very much is a whole different beast. And I can only imagine doing that all the time, having to kind of talk kind of for a camera, but also doing theater. It's weird because it's technically film, but technically theater. So I also want to ask you guys, how does it feel also kind of learning more about the camera and stuff like that during this time with COVID?
You mean like computer camera or like acting on camera with Jason?
I guess both. Because I mean, you guys are now also doing more with Jason, I would imagine. Because you guys also did Grim Night, which, by the way, amazing. I loved it. But how exactly was that for you guys? How has it changed now doing a lot of acting over a camera?
It's definitely very different because there's a lot that you can't do in terms of moving on a stage. And a lot of the time you just kind of have to rely on what's here, and it's not always bad. I find that a lot of times in scenes, like if we weren't online, then I wouldn't necessarily be looking straight at someone while I'm doing a scene with them, and sometimes it has made it in a way easier to connect because you don't have to worry about how awkward your body feels on stage or what am I doing with my hands and stuff like that. So like there has been like certain aspects that have been a bit liberating in a sense, that you don't have to be self-conscious of how you're standing and moving and whatever. You're kind of just focused on the person and connecting. But for like every other class other than like performance lab, I would say it kind of makes it super hard because you're not in a, like being in the studio or whatever and doing exercises doesn't feel the same as just being in my basement doing vocal exercises or like movement exercises. It just feels like it unmotivating. Like it definitely doesn't make you want to do the things.
Yeah. There's definitely a disconnect. Sorry, Mo, go ahead.
No, go right ahead. You guys can continue. I was just about to say like that must be difficult and almost like sad that the passion is there, but it's also very disconnected.
Yeah. And what you were saying, like you don't know what to do with your hands and like your body, but like I feel like third year is very much refining that and working on that. And I feel like we've missed out on that kind of learning how to become with yourself.
Agreed.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the feeling of like a little bit disconnected, and I'm just in my bedroom for class, so it's not really like I don't have that associated with like work,
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
oh
a
my
place
God.
where I go to work. But I think one upside that I've found is that I'm in my bedroom, which is a place that I'm very comfortable in. So in a certain way, it's allowed me to, I think at some points, just feel more at ease to let go and like just be myself. But I mean, not myself because I'm the character, but the character is from me. Anyway, that's a whole other thing, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. But something I absolutely hate, is after a class is done, people are happy, they're like, hey, whatever, having conversation, and then you turn off the phone, and then you're in your room and it's silent.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, my God, this sucks. Right? You miss that. You miss the talking to people after class. You miss the just walking down the hallway. You miss the green room.
Yeah.
In ways. You miss just going outside and seeing it above you. There's nothing better than walking down to the water and just enjoying the day after class.
And like I know that like once you're kind of done the lesson of the day or whatnot, you guys, at least for my ensemble, we would always talk about it with anyone possible, right? We can even talk to the first years about what we're doing, and like hopefully that you guys get to do it as well. And I'm hoping that you guys are still doing all the same lessons even during this time. I mean, it must be different, I would imagine, to kind of do like mime and stuff like that. I can only imagine doing that over Zoom.
We did not do mime.
No.
We did not get mime.
That's movement class?
Yeah, because we don't have the Nana. We have a new teacher.
Oh. We're doing mind in the bones.
A lot of very physical work. That is very, very cool. Definitely, I have never cried so much because of a class. It's definitely the hardest class I think I've ever done in this program, but I'm very happy because I'm also learning the most, even though I hate it, but I love it.
It's a lot of like very inward work, which I think makes sense for the current context of the world, where you can't really be working on, like connecting with someone as much in real life when you're like 2 feet away from them. You're doing a super intimate scene. It's like, I love you, projecting halfway across the room, So, yeah.
It's good though. I mean, you guys also get to do a whole new thing that also a lot of people aren't going to get the same type of teaching. You know what I mean? It's definitely a hybrid, like I said before. And who knows, it might be something that may help even more than the original, I guess, plan of action. But yeah, it's good. And I'm glad that you guys have a brand new teacher. That's amazing to have a whole new person to talk to about different acting, because I know everyone's going to be different at this time. You know what I mean? Like me, I had a Nana. I had different teachers, right? So I'm going to be a different actor because of it. You guys are going to be well off with this brand new teacher.
Yeah, definitely very different teaching and acting style than any other teacher in the program.
And just the difference between Andy and Terry, having that for 3 years, it's like totally different. And yet it's just, you make
You're
with
learning.
you learn, and then you make what you're learning and you make it work for yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I had Andy, but we also had a Jason show. We also had a Zach show. Every director is different, right? And it's great that Abbott does that, where you have different directors, because when you get out into the real world, you're probably not going to work with the same director, every time, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great to have, Andy and Terry are just, the amount of wisdom these two have. And they can just, something from like 50 years ago, they're just going to randomly quote. It's nuts. But I mean, you guys must be looking forward to also just a whole different outlook with Andy. I know Andy's very known as the one that wants to do something different all the time and whatnot. So
yeah. But just being around him, he's like a fountain of knowledge. It's incredible how much this man knows. And I'm so excited to pick his brain for the 6 weeks we have him.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 6 weeks too. Like I was talking to Alicia about basically what's going to happen once COVID doesn't exist for the theater community. And she was saying that the young generation, some may think is very hard right now, but a lot of the older generation is sadly leaving acting during this time. It's very difficult with everything. But she was also saying that the amount of young people that are going to be getting jobs because of this, and the amount of stories that are going to be told because of wise learning and whatnot, it's going to be incredible. And we have to look on the hopeful side of what will be coming for theater. And to have people like Andy, Terry, Jason, the amazing Alicia Conway, Tracy Lee, all these guides and girls are going to allow us to just push into a whole new theater department and theater community moving forward. So I mean, it's good that you guys have those wells of knowledge. As Mike said, it's great. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's hop into the next question, and it's great that we're talking about wisdom. So yeah, the words of wisdom segment is basically you guys just kind of saying if there was someone that wanted to be in theater or wanted to do acting or just felt like being in the business itself, what would you tell them if they were scared to at this moment?
You'll never regret trying theater. You'll never regret trying. And for myself, I learned so much about myself when, even like in my, what was I, 24? I was 24 when I went into ALC, and just doing the basic amount of theater and stuff like that just helped me learn so much about myself. I've changed a lot since then. I've been more open with myself and more accepting of myself. And yeah, it's hard. We all know it's hard to make a career out of theater. But there's something upsetting about just doing stuff because it's safe, because it's easy. And we didn't go into theater because we knew it was going to be easy. We know it's going to be hard, but it's something we have to do. It's something we love.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would say along the same veins, as much as life is short and all that, life is also long. Like, you can go into theater, and if you find that you don't like it, do something else. Like, there's nothing wrong with trying and seeing if it's for you, and if not, change it. Because I think a lot of the times we're like, well, I have to choose one program that I want to go into, and it's really not like that. If you talk to a lot of the people, especially in theater department, like, a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, I'm like, I've been at Abbott for 5 years or whatever. And so there's nothing, I definitely think the best thing anyone can do is just try it. If you don't like it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with leaving.
Yeah.
There's time.
Absolutely.
Really. It's like, it's one of those things, I think it was Mike that said it, that you can't regret it, because you just learn so much about life. And I think it just makes you a better human, honestly, especially like with the approach that we got. Yeah. I think, like Nike, you just do it. Just try it. Just like dip your foot in a little bit and see if you want to get to swimming, you know?
Yeah. And the thing we've learned from characters is that you always have to, you can't, if you're a character who's an enemy, you can't see yourself as an enemy. You have to sympathize with yourself. You always have to sympathize with the character you are. And so you grow, you gain new outlooks on different perspectives. And I think that's so important in life. Just being open.
Yeah. And working. Mm-hmm. You just have to work. I think like that's something I really didn't understand when I got into the program. Just if I'm being completely honest, like of course it's fun if you're good at something without even trying, you know? Not that I'm saying that was my situation, but I don't know. I think I think I was a little bit cocky when I came into the program. I think I thought that a little bit, and um, yeah, it's fun that way, but it's much more fun if you really, really work at something and like pour your whole entire soul into it, and then you start seeing progress bit by bit, and yeah, that's just the best.
Yeah.
It's lovely hearing you guys say this because I know that a lot of people, they go into theater and then the minute something goes wrong or it seems like everything's going wrong, they jump ship and they go into something else. But that's perfectly okay as well. And I know that with theater, it's a lot of learning and relearning and kind of, like we said, just inch by inch, changing everything kind of about yourself in a good way. And I know a lot of teachers would say this, that they believe everyone should do something, take a theater course or do something like that because you really do learn a lot about yourself. I wasn't the same person as I was in first year, now in third year or beyond, because you change. And it's great to see that you guys also noticed that. In first year, you guys may have been more shy. I know I was a very shy human being walking in to Abbott. I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. And then come the end of it, I'm playing a character on stage with no shirt for 90% of the show. And yeah, it's crazy. It is nuts the amount of transformation that you do at Abbott. So if you had to tell your first year self something that you love about you now, about to graduate very soon, what would you tell them?
That's so hard. I've never heard that question. That's nice.
Oh boy.
I know.
I feel like, okay, this isn't, I don't know, but a lot of people tell themselves to enjoy it because before you know it, it'll be over. And I try to remind myself that every step of the way to enjoy it because before you realize it, it'll be done. And even then, I don't feel like I enjoyed it as much. I don't feel like I enjoyed it as much in the moment as I should have. Even though I knew I should, even though I reminded myself and I went in knowing that. I feel like there were moments that I missed enjoying, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that's also probably due to, I mean, school, it's still a school too, right? So you are very focused on work a lot. Even when it's something you love, you're still like, I still need to do this by this date and whatnot. And that can be stressful as well. You know what I mean? I know in first year, I'm a control freak. I need to kind of do everything that, you know what I mean? In first year, I was very much like that. But, you know, you kind of need to like enjoy the moment, but also have to worry about stuff that's coming up. You know what I mean? And it's crazy in third year because they throw business at you very, very quickly too.
Yeah. And that business class is like, it's very good information to know, but it helps you prepare yourself for what it's like outside and knowing that it's going to get harder. And unless you're proactive and you work hard, you're not going to go anywhere. Even if you're the most talented person in the room.
Mm-hmm. What was the question again? Sorry, I have terrible memory.
If you had to ask or tell rather your first year self something that they need to hear, you think, what would you tell them?
Try things. like let yourself fail. I definitely didn't do that as much as I should have. But if I could tell my first year self that, it would be just let go, just try, fail. It's okay.
I think, it's kind of complicated. I think in first year, man, I was all over the place. I was also super shy, but then I had this weird idea that, like, I guess I've always believed that, like, everything that you have the potential to be is already inside of you. So, first year was an especially frustrating time for me because I just believed that I had the potential to be like amazing, frankly. I don't know. My brain is really weird, but I was just like, I know that I can be so good, but every time I do something, it's terrible and I'm a failure and why am I even here? And if I could go back and show first year me something, I would show her, like, look, you still don't have it all figured out. Sometimes you still fail and fall flat on your face, like, so hard, but you do have it inside of you to make good things, just not right there at the surface. You need to keep digging, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree with all your statements. It's, you really have to kind of fall to get back up, if that makes any sense. Especially in something like theater, you kind of just have to try stuff. And some stuff might stick, some stuff might not. But I know that I would tell myself that I'm a bigger human being. I've been told this by actors and teachers to take up more space and to present myself more. So I mean, to go off what you guys have been saying, to just kind of do it and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would say to any person going into acting. You know, you're gonna fall flat on your face. There's gonna be things that you might know, things that you may not know, things that seem harder, things that seem easier for you. But you're not gonna know that until you go and try it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was gonna be good at clown.
Yeah. And it's
I never
also
thought I'd
like,
be a clown. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Anyway, you're saying, Mike?
Yeah. I think I would tell myself to not care so much, to not care about what people might think, because nobody cares at all that if you fail or if you do something wrong, because there's nothing wrong. You're learning, you're in school. You're not putting on a performance every day. You're trying. And I feel like I spent too much time caring. And it's not a bad thing to not care. It's a good thing. It's freeing.
Yeah.
In our ensemble especially, like, we were blessed with just such a lovely group of people. I find a lot of us, I think it's just natural that we're worried about, like, what people think or whatever, but realistically, no one is sitting there going, like, oh, that person is so bad. Like, why are they, you know? Like, what? Especially the fact that we had Terry, hello, by the first time, scared us all out of any potential of thinking that way.
Yeah. And I did that to myself last week. I did something. I was like, oh, that was awful. And I beat myself up over it, but that's not going to change anything.
No, I think especially in first year, you're afraid of falling, but it takes letting yourself fall to realize that it's not that bad. Like if you're learning to like skate or to ride a bike or whatever, you're always like scared of falling until you fall. And then you're like, oh, I can just get up. It's fine.
Yeah. I can't add to that. You guys hit it perfectly. It's just, it really is a learning curve trying to do all these different things because they throw everything at you, literally everything at you. But I find that all of it's for a reason. And I forgot what teacher said it to me, but you did something great. It didn't work out. That's perfectly fine. There's another day tomorrow. There's another thing you're going to do tomorrow. And reality is at at Abbott, you do some form of whatever it might be. You do clown for a couple of weeks, you do mime for a couple of weeks. So you have the next day to try something new and hopefully it sticks, right? So, I mean, that's, yeah, you guys hit it out of the park there. So I also want to ask, unfortunately, we only have 2 more questions remaining. I can do this all day though. I'm loving it. What are your guys' plans after COVID? I know it's probably a crazy thing to ask because no one really knows. But what are your goals and aspirations for what's coming up?
I applied to university because I want to keep learning. Like, I know, like, we learn so much, but like, there's so much left to learn. Like, I feel like I don't know anything. Even though I definitely know so much more than I did in first year, I still feel like I don't know anything and I'm not really ready to work or anything. So I applied to a couple universities. I'm just waiting to hear back. And hopefully I'll do that and then work at some point.
Nice.
I think for myself, I'm kind of taking a year off-ish to regroup. I might try to work, but I don't know. I really don't know what's happening for me in the next year. I think I need to delve a little bit more into getting to know myself in like a variety of ways, and I want to do workshops and dance classes and hopefully voice lessons, and I'm always going to be working on acting because at this point it literally just feels like it's my limb, but I frankly have absolutely no clue what is happening in the future. I hope that I can do some film stuff. I hope that I can do some theater stuff. That would be great. But yeah.
For myself, right out of school, I'm going to try to find an agent. Unfortunately, very sad news that an agent who did give a lot of students a chance, Shimon Aviel, died recently. And it's been tough news in the film community for a lot of people. But yeah, try to find an agent, see what I can do, see if I can get some work. But I plan on just working this summer. I have a landscape when I'm not acting. But yeah, try to work as much as I can. And the plan is to move somewhere where film and TV is looking for actors. So somewhere maybe Vancouver, Toronto. From what we've heard, it's hard to get work in Montreal as a TV actor. And for theater, it's hard to get paid work in Montreal. It's you could definitely get like community theater stuff here, but paid work is tough. So yeah, I probably won't be in Montreal by this time next year. Yeah.
I think a lot of us are planning on escaping.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Montreal, but I completely understand it.
Yeah.
There is a lot of types of theater here, a lot of things that happen, but unfortunately, it's not very lucrative.
Yeah.
And film is unfortunately not here. There are certain things that are taped here, but usually not from here, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, all your guys sound like you guys have amazing futures, and I already knew you did, but now it's good to see that you guys have a plan, or somewhat of a plan, moving forward with COVID being, I mean, COVID's just been crazy recently. And I know with film and whatnot, it's definitely different with sets, and you guys need to wear a mask all the time, which it's very, I mean, of course, but you guys have to change masks every 4 hours. There's so many different protocols. But yeah, I mean, it sounds amazing, guys. And yeah. So for the next and last question, unfortunately, I actually want to ask you guys about film compared to theater. I want to get your guys' take on it right before you guys are going out into professional work. So overall, now that you've learned both theater and starting and almost finishing learning a bit about film, once you guys are let go and you guys are in the professional setting, if you guys had to pick theater or film or commercials, I guess. I mean, I guess we all would love to be in commercials because it's very lucrative. But what would you guys pick?
I think it's easy and hard because I would pick film, because that's why I used to think I hated theater, because it was like, oh, it's this boring long thing, there's not even songs, but then I actually saw theater and I love it, and I definitely love working on theater more than I love working on like in front of the camera. I hate it just seems fake. There's like all of the things that you get to do in theater, you can't do that in film, but I love watching movies, so I'd want to be able to create things that people are going to get to watch and love and connect with. So I really loved it. I would do film, but I would miss theater a lot.
Yeah.
Motor Mike.
I think I might be on the opposite end. I think film is really interesting. I love acting for camera. I think it's such a unique challenge, and especially like it's just such a contrast to everything that we've been doing before. It's really cool, and I would miss it, but I would choose theater over everything, because when you have those moments where you're just like genuinely connecting with another human being and all of the circumstances are so real to you, that's like a drug. It's impossible to replicate that, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think nothing beats the feeling of performing in theater. I feel like it's hard to find that in front of a screen, in front of a camera. But I love camera. I love acting in front of a camera. I love that because I find the thought, like the subtleties of your character are very present on the camera. You have to think. You have to have the thoughts going through your head while you're on camera, or else it just won't work. And I feel like it's harder to work in front of a camera than it is on theater, because there's so much character work that goes into theater acting that you don't get in camera work. But oh my God, I don't even know. If I had to choose one, oh my God. Probably theater. For myself, if I could make a really decent career from theater, I think I would choose theater over film.
I think that's the hardest part, actually making a career that you like, being able to live off doing theater.
Yeah. If I can make a career out of doing those shitty like those like goofy ads where they drop a shit ton of cartons.
Has this ever happened to you?
Yeah, you spill your food. Your dog eats your pizza. If I could do that, I'd be happy.
Become like the next Trivago guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that at the end is because I know reality is you're probably going to end up doing both. But I also wanted to show you guys that there's going to be kind of everything happening very soon. And I know that it's a crazy time now, and I know you guys have been through a lot during these last 2 years now, or year, I guess. But my God, guys, your futures look so bright. And I know with film, theater, commercials, the Trivago, or whatever you guys just said, I completely get that. It's been a different time, but there's a bright future for all you guys coming up soon. So I always shine a light on my guests at the end. And I mean, like I've just said, you guys have an amazing future ahead of you. I know that it's been different, and I know that you guys have had the chance to kind of pick all sorts of teachers' brains during this point, and I know that no matter what path you guys take, no matter what path, you guys are on a path towards stardom, all of you, because I mean, I've seen you guys act only a bit, but I know that your passion shows so much. You can see it over the camera, and I can see it when I talk to each and every one of you. So I'm so glad that you guys could be on today. And I'm so glad that we've had this amazing episode for episode 30 with you three. And I mean, if anyone else wants to come on from your year, you guys have an amazing year. It's great to see so many actors just love what they do. It's so inspirational, not just for me, but I can tell that people are going to really love connecting with the young artists that you guys are. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being on. It's been a blast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for being on. And again, if you guys want to come on at any point in time, just let me know. And I would love to have you guys back on again. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
The lights are off. The curtain has fallen. And it's time to say goodbye. Thank you all for joining us on the Little Thespian Podcast. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask, either down below or on any of our platforms. On the next episode of the Little Thespian Podcast, we have a gem of a human being, a great person, and a great artist. His name is Emilio Ferreira. We're going to talk all things Dr. Faustus, all things Peter and the Starcatcher, all things Laramie Project, and more for this incredible actor, Emilio Ferreira, on episode 31 of the Little Thespian Podcast with Emilio Ferreira. I truly cannot wait to talk to Emilio. He's a great guy, and I cannot wait to talk even more about what I love and what we love, theater. It's going to be a great time on episode 31. If you guys want to show some more support, don't forget to like this video, to comment your thoughts down below, and to subscribe to us here on YouTube. It helps us out tremendously, guys. And don't forget to ring the bell to stay notified on all future videos. There's going to be much more coming, guys, and it's going to be a great time here on the channel. Also, thank you so much, Maude, Fatima, and Mike, for being on this episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. It was great talking to you guys. And thank you guys so much for 30 episodes of the Little Thespian Podcast. I truly cannot believe that we have gone this far and that so much more is coming your way, guys. It is incredible that we have another milestone like this, and we thank you guys so much. Thank you all for watching, and guys, this has been your host, Matthew Crandall, telling you guys to always shine bright, even through the darkest days. We'll see you guys on the next Little Thespian Podcast.